G-Mafia strikes again. So many of you guys shot me the story, and I can't say that I was shocked because I wasn't, to be honest with you, because this is where we're heading, okay? For those of you who haven't heard the story, you had two kids in London who were suspended from school for 5 days for making alleged H-phobic comments. I'm not going to say the word, you already know what I mean by that. Now, it's a sad day where a 10-year-old is making more sense than some of these adults. Because they interview one of the kids. And this girl, a sweet little girl, she said that when she heard that word being used towards her, the H word that the teacher called her H-phobic, that she didn't even knew what it meant, that she was confused.
I only learned what homophobic means the other day, and it means that you don't like LGBT people. So I was confused when she said that I was being very homophobic.
And when she found out the definition of what it meant, that she was like, yo, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying they shouldn't be teaching this to kids.
I'm not homophobic. I'm just against the point of putting it in schools and teaching it to children.
I'm just saying that many kids knew who they were. They were confident in themselves. But now it seems like, they're not so confident.
I think that they're trying to confuse children into saying, what are you? Because before anybody knew what LGBT meant, everybody knew what gender they were. But now people are confused and they're saying that they're bisexual and trans because they're confused, and people are trying to say it's okay. But before all of this happened, they were completely confident of who they were, but now they're not.
What they want is a little confusion, because they can exploit that confusion. But what's really frightening is the recount of what's alleged to have happened. Because the teacher was like, yo, we're going to do this alphabet people lesson. And the two kids were like, no, can we be excused from this because we're Catholic? We don't accept this. The teacher was like, no, this is part of your curriculum. One of the kids is alleged to have said that this is stupid and dumb, or it sucks and it's dumb. Now, I'll just give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say, you know what, the child did say that. And they didn't say that they wanted the person to be offed. They didn't say they hate these individuals. They just said this lesson this is dumb and stupid, right? How many times have you said that as a kid when you were growing up from a class assignment? It's like, yo, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. Now that can be considered H-phobic. Now you can get in trouble for it. And it's not that you want any hatred or violence. It's just mere criticism. How many times have we seen this before? Just mere criticism, and you get labeled. When it comes to the other child's like, no, I'm Catholic, and that's just not what we accept. Then the teacher asks them a crazy question, just completely off the wall question. And the child obviously responds with, no, that's not what we want. But however, if they were to come back to my country, they would be punished for it. The teacher then asks, where are you from? Child says, well, I'm from African Jamaican heritage. That's where I'm at. Teacher then scolds them and then lies on them. Now, I don't know about you, but that's pretty low. That's pretty low. And here's the thing. You ready for the kicker? Are you ready for the cherry on top of this stupid Sunday? You'll never guess. But this teacher, her daughter is apparently part of the alphabet people. The assistant head teacher, part of the alphabet people. Now you tell me, which one do you think I'm going to listen to? Who do you think I believe right now? The person who more than likely got offended by the children wanting to opt out, or the children who have more common sense than these numbskulls? And you know what? I would say that put the children in private schools and Catholic schools, but you see how many of these false prophets are coming out teaching the same thing. So it's going to get to the point where you're going to have to homeschool them. That's what it's going to get to the point to, and I'm sure they're going to crack down on that. And the truly sickening part in all of this is how alphabet people would go about justifying this curriculum. Because they would just merely say, hey, Well, we want children to grow up to be more tolerant and accepting of alphabet people so they don't become bigots. That's what we want. Now, having said that, the funny part in all of this is how Muslim communities go about this. You have, I don't know if you know, if you remember what happened in Birmingham, but you had parents standing outside of the school talking about, no, we're not having this. Don't teach our kids our choice, right? They were protesting. I'm curious to see if did you hear any Democrats, any liberals, any lefties talk about that? Of course not. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe Lucas, there you go with your bigoted speech, your hate speech. You need to get that hate out of your life. You need to be more loving and caring. Or if you have to believe, I may not agree with everything they teach, but Muslims got that right. Our kids, our choice. You mean a 13-year-old got it wrong? No. Oh my goodness. So one of you guys shot me the story from Sky News, and in the story it goes on to say that there are hundreds of children that are coming to the realization that, maybe I'm not a Tyrannosaurus Rex after all. Maybe mutilating my body and taking hormones to change myself probably isn't the best solution. This now brings us to this 13-year-old little girl. This 13-year-old little girl is now going through the process of transitioning. Let me rewind that for those of you who didn't get it all the way in the back. Transitioning.
Ruby began identifying as male at 13 years old. Now 21, she'd been planning to have surgery to remove her breasts. But in May, she made the decision to come off testosterone and detransition to identify as female. Now,
This 13-year-old girl talked to many therapists, right? And that's what they recommended to her. You know, the best way to cure the dysphoria you have is to go through the transitioning process, right? That's what you hear all the time. Turns out that this little girl had an eating disorder. Now, hearing that, you would obviously think that, well, of course the therapist took that into account, right? Well, guess what? Guess how many therapists thought that, maybe her eating disorder about her body could possibly be overspilling into this dysphoria that she feels. Nope, no one.
None of the therapists that I spoke to brought that up. They didn't think that it was linked.
Do you?
I think so, yes, because they're both kind of based in how I feel about my body, so I've seen similarities between the two.
I want people to understand this, that the professionals she went to see, not one of them had the bright idea that her eating disorder could possibly be impacting the way she feels about her body, that one could possibly be causing the other. You tell me if that makes sense. You can't tell me that they're not manufacturing this problem. They are creating this problem. And I would argue, I would just follow the money trail. I wonder who gets kickbacks from these recommendations to this person or that person. Now, upon her mentioning that she now wants to detransition, guess how much support she got from the alphabet community? You guessed it, zero.
How much support did you feel was out there for you when you came to this conclusion?
I didn't feel like there was any support out there other than like a few friends online.
The story then leads us to another individual who went through the same exact thing. Now, this individual decides to start a charity where she comes across other 5,000 people who are going through the same exact thing.
Charlie Evans is forming a charity to support people in Ruby's position. After going public with her detransition story, she discovered an online community of 5,000 in a similar position.
I want people to really understand this, to really get a grasp of this. This video should have over millions of views. This video, this story should be put everywhere. Because if it was the opposite, if it was the other way around, you best believe Vice would be covering it, CNN would be covering it, MSNBC would be covering it, everyone would. So I don't know about for you, but for me, it seems that as soon as someone deviates from the narrative that the alphabet community has been throwing out there, has been propagating, it seems that those individuals are ostracized. It seems that they're treated like lepers. Now, having said all of that, for those of us with an intellectual bandwidth higher than that of a gnat, already guessed this. We already figured this out a long time ago. But you know what? It's 13-year-old children like this who are under the parenting of these simpletons, who are under the parenting of people who have been indoctrinated themselves. Like I said, they no longer care. Everybody wants to talk about they're trying to take the father of the household. No, they don't care about the father being in the household anymore, because the fathers thinks the same way. So when the child says some ridiculous nonsense, hey, I feel like a T-Rex. Well, honey, let's go to the doctor. Let's see and diagnose you to see if you actually are a T-Rex. The doctor or the therapist says, you know what? This person's a T-Rex. Undergo surgery and hormone replacement. Okay, off you go. Maybe there are other factors that are causing this. Maybe there's another way to handle this instead of mutilating your body. In which case, it's irreversible in many times, depending on when you started. This is sickening. And we've already had people who come out and spoken about this. People, I already told you, what was his name? Walter Heyer.
We are manufacturing transgender kids. We are manufacturing their depression, their anxiety, and it's turned into a huge industry that people are profiting from after kids' lives are completely torn apart.
Yeah, the first non-binary person who's come out and spoken about this. But, those stories are suppressed. Those stories are suppressed. The G-Mafia, they don't like those individuals. I just want people to understand the nonsense that's going on. Now, in the video, of course, even in the video itself, they go on to show this 21-year-old who has a girl who now thinks, how do I say this, that they're not a girl. We'll put it like that. And they're saying, oh, I feel so amazing that it was horrible, it's torture. Okay. Well, let's give it some time. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe look, it's focused. Yeah, or it sounds a transphobe. You're disgusting. Or if you don't believe, I don't know. Maybe 1 + 1 isn't 506 after all.
Was to the jury's decision on Monday?
Well, I was just completely shocked. I mean, we put up an email from Miss Georgelis to me in which she contemplates cutting the penis off my son. 20 minutes later, they go into deliberations, and they come back voting against me. I mean, the Texas that I grew up in, the Texas that I live in, if a parent did that, we're just going to give them to the other parent. We're not going to tolerate that kind of craziness. So it just tells you, I think, really how far our society has changed, and how much less Christian we are in the way we think about things now. And I hope it's a wake-up call to the churches to awake from their dogmatic slumber and step back out onto the streets of the Agora, as Paul did in Athens, and start taking on these issues head on.